What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing what I used to do. I don't really do this too much anymore, but I just want to break down a sample that I really like that I made earlier in April, and we're gonna do that today. So it's not guitar. I think like every single video that I've made in the past just forever has been guitar. This is actually MIDI, so it's going back to our roots a little bit on this one. But yeah, it's like a little Tekka sort of ambient. I don't even know how to really describe it. You guys will hear. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at GavinHadley_. Feel free to go check out some of my kits. I'll have them linked down in the description for you guys. And yeah, let's throw some darts and get into it. I apologize, it's really dark, so you might not be able to see it, but let's go. All to the right, that's weird. So I'm just gonna start by playing the final sample. It really looks like a lot is going on here, but it's not, I assure you. I just rendered all of these out in the audio files just to make it a little bit easier on my computer. And yeah, so we're just gonna play this. So here's what the final sample sounds like. So yeah, super atmospheric sounding. When you do like this reversing and just reverb stuff, sounds kind of invent themselves. It's weird. I don't really know how to explain it too well, but it happens. And that's what we got going on here. So I'm just gonna mute all this. We don't need it. We'll just start up top with the piano. So I'm using the Lab Soft piano. It really feels like an old Gavin video. Shouting out the Lab Soft piano. If you guys have been here for a while, you know that I really like this piano and we use it today. So this just starts with an F sharp major chord with a G sharp up here. It's kind of serving as like a part of the top melody. We got this, same chords. All right, so for the chords, really, I guess you could say there's some music theory going on here. I didn't really think of that. Since we're working in the major scale, I just dropped down like a half a step from this root note right here, made a minor chord, and then I experimented with putting different notes in the bass. And is this how I thought when I made this? Most likely not. I think I was just going for just random ideas, and this is what it came to be. This A sharp in the bass, though, really did a good job sort of changing up this chord and just the overall progression. Really made it sound dark. And the C too. It's just the bottom note of these chromatics right here. If you don't know what chromatics are, they're just two notes that are right next to each other in the scale. Again, I don't think like this when I'm cooking up, but if you want to hear it, I guess here it is. So yeah, the C, it's like a really dark sound. You guys can hear just by listening. We got a little melody going over here with intervals. We drop back down to the C again. This is just a C sharp major chord right here too. And then we have a little call and response going right here. This is the call. And that's the response. It's kind of just working its way up the scale. And yeah, those are the chords effects that I put on them. I have this effect chain. I don't actually put this on every time, don't worry. It's just basically stuff to just dirty it up a little bit. We have RC20 here. It's not working for some reason. I think it's because I loaded the FLP up weird, but decapitator, normally I turn this off now. It just distorts it a little bit, as you guys can hear. And then this EQ cassette, again, kind of like RC20, little reverb, and then delay, and then ozonate elements. I'm pretty sure it widens it. I put that effect chain on like all my pianos. Next, we have this counter melody as well, using the Lab Soft piano. But I put a bunch of effects on it, as you guys can hear. It's this effect chain that I have, this sort of shape going on here, a bunch of reverb, and then this distortion. And I have the distortion like above the reverb. So sometimes I like putting my reverbs over the distortion because you're going to get like a more distorted reverb sound. This is all like texture stuff that I really am nitpicky about, but by putting it underneath here, because this is like such a powerful distortion, it kind of softens it, but it gives it a cool sound. That's what it sounds like before, just so you guys can hear. And then after. So like it really switches it up. But yeah, just a simple counter melody. When I'm making these, I really just try to pick a good first note. So I like go up and down the scale like this, basically just clicking in notes in the scale that I think might sound good. And when I find one, I kind of just know. Here, I'm really emphasizing these chromatic notes again. Just super like dark, eerie sound. And this is just like a classic call and response melody, just going down here and then up, down, up. You guys can see wave shape. And then these intervals, like this A sharp and this F, just sounds really dark. There's no music theory behind this again, but I just thought I'd point that out. And I'm pretty sure most likely because this looks like it was copy and pasted over. So this was originally D sharp. I probably just moved it down here. And yeah, that's that. What's this? All right. So it's the same chords that we had from before. I just took out some of the top notes here and then came up with an interesting sort of arpeggiated pattern here. And I mess with the velocities a lot as well. And then to diversify these halves, as you can see, I have this rhythm here and I kind of slow it down. I do this in a lot of my loops, especially guitar loops. I sort of change up the rhythm entirely for like the second part and like to slow it down and then have like a faster part right here. And then effects on this, it's just an EQ, taking out some high ends and some low ends as well. And then Echo Boy, the analog preset, just sort of washing it out and not making it as prominent. Just the bass here. And what I do for all of my basses, I put Tube Screamer on them. Sometimes I bring back the blend knob, but for this I didn't. And then I also like to make it a little bit more mono sometimes by adjusting this. And as you can see, I adjusted it a lot throughout the loop for some of the other sounds. We have another axe. I believe this is like a nice bell here. Coming up with another counter melody. I think the thing that gives this loop its eerie sound is just bouncing back and forth between these chromatics. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're trying to make something that sounds a little bit like this. So then after that, I just have one more lab soft piano. Just another little counter melody here. I did a lot of counter melodies for this. I feel like I do a lot of counter melodies in almost all my loops, but when you add a bunch of reverb and then mess with EQs like I do, it sort of all blends them together and it doesn't feel like there's as much going on, especially when I blend them together in the way that I do. I try to like separate. I don't want a bunch of stuff going on in one area, obviously, and this is a more like relaxed one in general, especially when you do like different sounds. Like the last one was a bell or Celeste or whatever from Expand. That also helps break it up a little bit. And effects on this, it's I believe this is like a guitar preset. Yeah, it is. Like a guitar amp is on this to distort it, some reverb and some EQ as well, and then also a little bit of delay and a little alter boy form and shift. So this really has a lot of stuff going on in it. This is what it sounded like before the form and shift. And after. Really subtle. You might not even be able to hear it, but it's just a little bit of just weird form and shift stuff that goes on. I don't even know how it works, but it works. And a lot of these effects that I'm adding, there's a lot of them there. Honestly, do they all have to be there? No, but I just really like affecting stuff and just messing around with different combinations, so that's why I do it. Those are the sounds. I rendered them all out into audio files here. I'm not even going to unmute these, and then I just structured it out one at a time, and then I had the sample here. After that, it gets pretty straightforward. So if you're looking to make these dark loops, a tip I can give is pitching stuff down. Obviously, you guys have probably heard that already, but if you haven't, definitely try it, especially if you do it in FL Studio right here, not just pitching down MIDI. It's going to give it a different sound. Definitely sounds a lot more sampled and just different than if you just pitch down the MIDI, because it's not as clean, but it kind of helps with that texture. So I took this piano melody that was right here, and I chopped it up right here. I pitched it up an octave, reversed it, chopped it up, and then added these. These are also from the loop. They weren't reversed. I just put different effects on them, and you can hear it. These are the added stuff now. And this is just a guitar preset I used. I already showed it earlier. Just a little bit of distortion, really. That's what we were going for with this. So hear these guys as well. So this is just a part of the sample that was reversed. I just threw it in there because I thought it sounded good. And that's basically the loop. And then lastly, what I do is I put like a Fruity Parametric EQ, just the normal one on the master channel. And I just mess around with frequencies, adjusting things to my liking. This is what it sounds like before. And then after. Normally I just do it to make it sound a little bit more crispy and just like sort of adjust frequencies in the whole sample that I think need to be like lowered or boosted and whatnot. Rather than just like going into each individual sound. Why I do it this way, I don't really know, but I think it is pretty cool whenever I do it, so that's why I do it. That is that, and here's the final loop again. And sometimes even once you pitch stuff down, again, like I said earlier, you have all that reverb and stuff going, and like the reverse sounds, I kind of hear like a little bit of a vocal in this. You guys might be able to hear it, maybe not, but that's just what my ear gets from it. And the cool things about melodies is that everyone kind of picks up different things, so you might hear something totally different. But yeah, that is the loop. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you were able to learn something today. Comment down below what type of tutorials you guys would like to see next from me, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be back doing just normal tutorials on this channel at least. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Again, have an awesome rest of your day or night whenever you're watching the video. Thank you for watching if you got to this point, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.